Well, g'day and welcome to the Collateral Sports Podcast, episode 8, I believe this one is. Excited to be here with you as we've got another big show to cover of all things NFL Week 8, and then, of course, the NBA season, and it's in well and truly full swing now. I think we're in our third week of the NBA season, so there's plenty going on, plenty to talk about. But as always, I am joined by Wusty. How you going tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I'm fantastic, mate. Awesome to have another episode, NFL Week 8. What an absolute bunch of wildcard games. It was tough on predicting any of these, which I mean, you both know. But look, man, I'm just excited to jump into them.
Yeah, that's right. And we will look at the NFL scores, but of course, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you go and follow us over on Twitter to keep up to date with everything that's happening around Collateral and keep up to date when the new episodes of the podcast do drop. And please follow us on or subscribe to us on YouTube. But let's flick over to our Week 8 NFL scores. What's he doing?
Yeah, definitely, mate. No better place to start off than with the Green Bay Packers versus Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals headed into this one as the only undefeated team with a record of 7-0. Green Bay was 6-1. And in a game that no one really saw coming, with Green Bay missing 3 of their top wide receivers, everyone stood up, and especially no more than that defense. The Green Bay defense absolutely showed out. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers' best day by far, but I feel like everyone else is really covering up the holes, and A.J. Dillon was fantastic, slotting into that running back position, as Aaron Jones floated out to more of like the wide receiver mark. And funnily enough, Aaron Jones actually led all receivers with 7 catches and 50 yards, with the most of either of those two categories. Not bad for your starting running back. A.J. Dillon, 16 carries, 78 yards. Man, this is an absolute belter of a game. It got raw and it went right down to the wire, as like we pretty much all hoped it would. The Aaron Jones had the run that was taken away from him for the touchdown, and which blew my multi, but it ended up hanging on there anyway. And the game was capped off by just an absolute special interception to take out the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray looked a little bit more human against the defense, which is surprising. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He ended up getting a bit of a bump on that last interception that he had. So hopefully he's all right, because I do have him as my MVP leader. Even still after this game, he's just had such a great body of work. But yeah, Green Bay keep on rolling, mate. What was your takeaway for this one?
Mate, it was the first time we've really seen some holes in the Arizona game, which, I mean, it's always nice to see when the juggernaut of what is kind of talked about as being the Arizona Cardinals, that it's almost makes them feel a little bit more human when they do play a game like this. And we've talked about this time and time again, that every team at one point or another will probably lose a game they shouldn't. We even saw it when the Golden State Warriors went on that historic run in the NBA. They lost games they shouldn't lose. So it was the Arizona Cardinals were due to lose one. I think the league is way too tough this season for them not to lose a game. And I would almost argue they'll probably lose another couple before season's out. Not too many more, but they'll at least lose probably 1 or 2 more. But look, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, man, like Aaron freaking Rodgers. It wasn't the greatest game he's ever had. I would say he's actually played. He played the par is probably the best way to put it. But it wasn't like we've seen Aaron play better games this year. But the way he leads this Green Bay Packers offense it just shows why the Packers are a team to be fearful of this season. And it'll be interesting to see when they do get to the finals. Obviously, there is those concerns with their defensive end. But, I mean, they were able to hold out the Cardinals on Friday morning. So who knows? It's too hard to say. But, yeah, like you said, Aaron Jones, man, what a game he had.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Not only did it get done on the receiving end, but he got it done on the rushing end. There's not many players that can do that. And Aaron Jones really came up clutch for the Green Bay Packers. And I would say he was a key part of the Packers winning the game on Friday. So look, props to him, props to the Packers. The Cardinals, I don't think they were getting caught up too much on this one. You wouldn't think. It wasn't Kyler Murray's best game. He still threw for more yardage than Aaron Rodgers, mind you. But look, it's just one of those games. I think I don't know if there's too much to say as far as the Cardinals, but the Packers just played a great game.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Packers were phenomenal. They had an absolute bend don't break system when it comes to their defense. They were happy to give up those little yards down the middle, but once it goes to the red zone, they were really, really locked down, which is absolutely incredible to me, especially without Jair Alexander. The second, third, fourth, fifth, all these string cornerbacks and safeties stood up. Especially, no bigger accomplishment than holding DeAndre Hopkins to only 2 receptions for 66 yards. they just couldn't get the ball to him. He ended up having a bit of a bump on he had a bit of a leg issue towards the end of the game. But all the game, like one of his catches was just like one of the first plays of the game where it was an absolute blown coverage and he ends up going for 40 yards. So like, yeah, absolutely credit to Green Bay. If they can win games like this, then they can definitely make a splash when it comes to the Super Bowl and the playoffs before that, obviously, not to put the cart before the horse. But yeah, and it's I hope everyone is just really enjoying eating this crow that wrote off the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers after week 1, saying that he didn't want to be here. And I'll bring it up every week because they need to be reminded of it every week. Green Bay keep rolling, down goes Arizona. Obviously, we've had JJ Watt now for a significant amount of time, but they should keep rolling too. Yeah, no, what an absolute fantastic way to start.
I do have a question about the Green Bay Packers, though. Obviously, you are an avid Green Bay Packers fan.
Yeah.
But I have an honest question, and I hope I get your somewhat unbiased opinion on the Packers. Do you think they are a genuine Super Bowl contender this season?
At the start of the season, no. Even right now, I feel like we're definitely poised to make a deep run into the playoffs. And then, well, you look at how we were last season when we ended up losing to Tampa Bay when we had the home game. Man, we probably should have won that because it's not like Tampa Bay played great. Aaron Rodgers, once again, he didn't have like an absolute barnstorming win, and that's what kind of like sprouted this whole talk of like, will it even come back and if he was disinterested. But man, the way the boys are rallying, like to win a game where like we're pretty much the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams 1-2 punch is probably like one of the best in the NFL. And like one of the most tried and true. So a quarterback not having that receiver, and then also being down Valdez-Scantling and a couple others, I'm pretty sure as well. And the defense to step up like that. If the defense can play like that, then 100% we can compete for a Super Bowl. Because yeah, we've got the running game. Well, once we get our receivers back, we have definitely a good enough receiving core. We end up losing Tonyan, unfortunately, our tight end. So, and I think he might be out for a significant amount of time. So it's just going to be about surviving the year. If we can just get away with not too many more injuries, get everyone back, get everyone healthy, and the defense is all going to come down to them. Like if we play defense like we did tonight, then yeah, we'll definitely compete for a Super Bowl. We should have been in it last year, so yeah, I think. And what a beautiful way it would be if Aaron Rodgers did leave at the end of the year, then to cap it off with a Super Bowl as well. About 10 years removed from his last one with the Green Bay Packers as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'd definitely give them a chance. They'll have some stiff competition to get there, but look, yeah. I think the NFL's so open this year. There's so many teams that probably don't have terrific records, like a couple of 4-2, 5-2, 6-2 teams, a couple of 5-3 teams that probably, I would argue, when it gets to that pinch point of the season, they can definitely make a statement. So look, I think the NFL's wide open, which is why this season's been so exciting. Like as we're about to see, when we go through some of these scores, how unpredictable this season has been.
Well, keyword there, because none more unpredictable than the game we have up, which is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New York Jets. Jets win 34-31 over Cincinnati. How, why, what, and who? Zach Wilson, rookie quarterback, obviously for New York Jets, number 2 overall pick, doesn't play. In his place was a guy I have never heard of before. Mike White, which ironically is the whitest name I've ever heard. He just goes absolutely berserk. We'll get to his stats, and I'll let you take away on his stats in a bit, Lockie. But that defense for the New York Jets was just absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure with Zach Wilson. I feel bad for Zach Wilson because surely he's sitting on the sideline at this point going, where has this been the entire season so far? Like, because they were flying around the field. They were absolutely phenomenal. Like, Michael Carter as well, their running back who they drafted this year, and seeing as the end of the first, start of the second round. Just absolutely incredible. 15 carries, 77 yards, 1 touchdown. But he also caught 9 catches as well for 95 yards. He was just doing the 1-2 punch like Aaron Jones, like DeAndre Swift. Like, this man just looked like an absolute man possessed out there. But Mike White, oh my God. But he did have 2 interceptions. Which, if you just saw the stats, well, you do have to go through his big stats to get to that one. But his 2 interceptions were not his fault. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the ball was perfectly thrown. It just bounced off their Jets receiver's hands, and it's just one of those ones that goes up. Bengals get underneath it, and how you doing? Keep it moving. I did not see this one coming. I think I had Bengals by 10. Man, what a game, mate! Did you end up catching much of this one?
I caught a little bit of it, but man, Mike White. It's a second.
Mike White.
It's a Mike freaking White. It's
fucking White.
It's the second win for the season for the Jets, which is probably 2 more than what I thought they might get. Because the Jets suck, and they have for quite some time. But man, Mike White, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. And as you said, 2 interceptions, but you can't really count them.
I'm not counting that.
If you look at it from a generous perspective, it was really 0 interceptions for 3 tutties. Man, 37 from 45 completions. That's pretty good numbers, in anyone's book.
I'm Brady.
But the question is, do we think, do you really think that Mike White, he comes out and he plays the Jets next week? Can he do it again?
No. Long story short, I would have to say no. I don't even know who the Jets have.
They got the Colts.
Week.
They have the Colts.
They got the Colts.
So it's a winnable game.
And it's a Thursday night game as well.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he can come out and do that again. Although I do think that the Cincinnati Bengals are better than the Jets. This is just like one of those, we've talked about this before and plenty of times, is that sometimes you just lose games, and this was the one for the Bengals. Sometimes you just look past your opponent, and I'm just going to chalk that one up as maybe that's all that this one was. But the Jets, if it's not a matter if Mike White can do this again, then yeah, sure. But it's the defense that's going to have to do this again, because now you've just shown that you can do this. I guess a good team in the Cincinnati Bengals, they were getting after the quarterback, man, and they were being very, very disruptive in the passing. It was actually really refreshing. A lot of the games this week, the referees kind of stepped out of it a little bit and were letting them play. There was a bit of hand checking and stuff going on from the wide receivers in the corners, not just letting him play it out. A lot of things happened in this game, but the Jets defense was absolutely unreal. And Mike White looked like Tom freaking Brady. So will that happen again? Who knows? It is the NFL. Would I bank on it? Absolutely not. Mike White though, let's give the man his flowers today before we look too far into the future. But the dude had just an absolute spectacular game.
You've even got to look at Braxton Berrios, his kick returns. He averaged 30 yards per return.
Yeah.
What is that?
It was just an absolute all-around game today from the New York Jets. But yeah, I'll keep humming on this forever. The defense was just spectacular. They look like a top-tier defense. Michael Carter looked like DeAndre Swift, like Aaron Jones. He looked incredible. And I actually had pretty high expectations for him coming in, even though he was on the Jets team and he was always going to struggle. He's not going to struggle more than the quarterback would in such a terrible team, but he was always going to struggle. This was his really coming out game, and what a game he chose to come out to. Then against the Cincinnati Bengals, man, this is just an absolute phenomenal game from the Jets. I haven't seen anything like this from them in a very long time.
Yeah, I think we could talk about this one all day long, but we better move on to the rest of the game. So keep on taking us through it, Wusty.
Too easy. So next up, we have the Tennessee Titans taking down the Indianapolis Colts 34-31. This one ended up going to overtime. Colts really fell apart towards the end there. Bad Colts, good Titans. Keep it rolling. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus Houston Texans. Rams take down Houston 38-22. It's like the side mirrors in your car. The objects look closer than they appear. This game was not a 38-22 game. Just putting it out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't watch it and you just seen the score, 22 points came in the fourth quarter once the Rams had taken the foot completely off their electric car pedal. The whole thing was wrapped up by that point. Rams looked very dominant against the Houston Texans, as they should. Moving on to 7-1. Next up, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns, and Baker Mayfield returned for this game. Very underwhelming game, this one. The Browns had their opportunities. Steelers didn't enough. Steelers win 15-10. Next up after that, we had the Philadelphia Eagles against the Detroit Lions. Lions moved to 0-8 as they fall to Philadelphia 44-6.
I actually don't think at this point the Lions will get a win this season.
I feel like I've picked them to win most of these weeks so far.
Every week we come on this show and we defend the Lions, and they're a better team than what they're playing. They're not actually that bad. They've just been unlucky with a couple of things, but it's time and time again. This is 8 weeks in a row now. We've tried to defend the Lions, and they still cannot come away with a win. So I think there's a point where you've just got to go, there's something seriously wrong happening in Detroit. They were far from ever going to be a top tier team this season, but then no one thought they were going to be an 0-8 team, I don't think.
I honestly thought they would have competed. I blame Jared Goff a lot of these weeks, and it usually is his fault. But you know what? This week, you know what the problem was? Is they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop bloody nose. They couldn't stop anything. You look at Jalen Hurts' stats, for example. I'll get through this quickly because no one cares about the Detroit Lions at this point. Jalen Hurts only threw 103 yards this game. No touchdowns. And they won 44-6. How do you do something like that, you may ask? Here's how. Jalen Hurts, 7 carries, 71 yards rushing. Boston Scott, 12 carries, 60 yards rushing. Jordan Howard, 12 yards, 12 carries, 57 yards rushing. Kenneth Gainwell, 13 carries, 27 yards rushing. Jalen Rager, their wide receiver, had 2 carries for 21 yards rushing. They couldn't do anything when it comes to the run. They didn't even need Jalen Hurts to beat him with his arm because, he can't. Like, usually when you go up against a quarterback like this, you got to take away what they do well and try to force them to beat you another way. In this case, Jalen Hurts has not proven yet that he can throw the football. We know he can run with it, but he can't throw the football that consistently. And instead of just trying to appease to that, you're just like, okay, we'll take away the passing game. What are you going to do now, Philly? And god damn it, Detroit Lions moved to 0-8. I don't even want to look at this anymore because it just hurts my heart because I do like the Detroit Lions. After that one, we do move to San Francisco versus the Chicago Bears. San Francisco take this one 33-22. Everyone kind of seen this one coming. Good job, San Francisco. Get back in the winners column. They moved to 3-4. Season stays alive. If they lose this one, they might have been in a lot of trouble. Moving to 2-5 in that division. I don't think they would have been able to come back from out of that hole. Jimmy Garoppolo played great. Next up after that one, we had the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Hawks. Carolina Panthers win this one 19-13. About as lackluster as you could probably imagine going into this one. Nothing too noteworthy other than Matt Ryan just doing Matt Ryan things, turning the ball over as he does. Couldn't get Kyle Pitts involved, although he did try. Chuba Hubbard, man, 24 carries for 82 yards, 1 touchdown. The running won the game for him again. Good job, Carolina Panthers. They should be looking at getting a CMC vaccine, hopefully. Next up after this one, we had the Miami Dolphins heading to Buffalo. Buffalo take them down handily, 26-11. No one really predicted anything other than this one. Buffalo scored 16 points in the fourth quarter to put this one away. Feels bad for Tua Tagovailoa at this point, but hey, Miami going to Miami. After that, we do move to the New England Patriots up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Patriots take this one 27-24, and you must be pretty happy watching this one, Lockie, moving the Chargers back to the Clippers out there in La La Town.
Yeah, mate, it's good to see that the Rams are firmly established as the Kings of LA. The Chargers started what did they start the season? 4-1?
4-1, 4-0. I think it's 4-1,
yeah, 4-1, and then it's been a real struggle for the Chargers ever since, and they've not really looked to kind of get it going. And I think that's now 3 losses in a row for the Chargers, and so things are looking a little bit tougher for them. Probably what everyone assumed it was going to. Oh, sorry, 2 losses in a row now, so not too much to panic about. But the Chargers definitely look like a better side than what they're playing right now. But I definitely would never have picked them to lose to the Patriots. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like there's 2 things happening at this point in this game. Is that one thing was going up, another thing was going down. Chargers obviously been a little bit of a slump, and the Patriots are really starting to bring it all together. Mac Jones, for a rookie quarterback that was taken 16th overall, has just been absolutely phenomenal. But the running game that has been non-existent for the Patriots all season so far until last week is absolutely flourishing now behind Damian Harris. He's just been absolutely incredible. Look, the defense is coming together. Judon has been an absolutely incredible pass rusher. You paid him all that money. That's what you got him for, and that's what he's actually doing now. Looking ahead, though, for the Chargers, I do believe they have Philadelphia next. So it should be a good bounce-back game. Obviously, if they come against the Philadelphia that just did that to the Lions, might be a bit different, but Chargers are a lot better than the Lions at this point, so shouldn't have too much to worry about. They should move up to 5-3. Season very much alive, and New England, once again, they really did need this win. Moving on, so speaking of dead seasons, we had Jacksonville Jaguars up against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks take this one handily, 31-7. Nothing too crazy happened in this one. Pretty much par for the course. As long as Geno Smith played good enough to win this one. I actually did pick the Jags. I don't know, for some reason I was just like, man, Seahawks have been bad lately. You picked Seahawks, so congratulations to you there. But we'll keep it moving to get out of this one. We had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to New Orleans. New Orleans was in this one 36-27, mate. What was your takeaways from this game? And did you see something like this coming?
No, I definitely didn't. And it like the New Orleans Saints, man, like it was bizarre. But what was more bizarre was this was a Tom Brady that we saw really struggled, and that was what the craziest thing was to me is how much Tom Brady was really battling on in this game. Like it was the interceptions. It was the sacks, like 2 interceptions. He passed for 4 touchdowns. So, like, do with that what you want. But it was a struggling Tampa Bay that just looked like it honestly looked like to me that Tampa really couldn't deal with the defense of New Orleans. Like they were just in their grill the whole time, and some of the routes they were running were just like it was just blowing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to pieces.
Yeah, a lot of things happened in this game. One thing that has to be noted is that New Orleans Saints, Tom Brady's kryptonite at this point. There is no other way to put it. The Saints just take down it's Tom Brady and it's Aaron Rodgers. They are just like that absolute kryptonite. They got it done when losing Jameis Winston, and Winston had like an absolute great game as well before he unfortunately did go down with that knee injury. It did look like 4 carries, 40 yards. He also was 6 from 10, so pretty accurate from the field, 56 yards and a tutty. It was looking really good, but yeah, he ended up going down. And then speaking of quarterbacks I've never heard before, and just absolutely took the game over. Move over Mike White, because let me introduce you to Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian. Absolutely come in, and he was 16 from 29, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. Man, it literally felt like he couldn't do any wrong. But the story of the game for me was definitely the penalties. Obviously, you had Tom Brady turn the ball over twice. That was one thing. Then there was another fumble loss. So that's another. So you're giving this ball away. There was sacked 3 times. New Orleans 1 time possession, but the penalties. New Orleans had 2 penalties against them. Tampa Bay had 11. It's going to be very difficult to win games against good teams when you're giving up that many penalties, and a lot of them were quite suspect, but a lot of them weren't. There were like a lot of taunting going on. It was just, you just didn't need to see it, and obviously when you play games like that against a team like New Orleans, you're going to lose. And but yeah, no, I definitely didn't picture Tampa Bay losing this one. I actually thought they might have even had the chance to only lose that one game for the rest of the season. But yeah, Saints did a really good job against them.
Let me give you some stats here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they rushed for 71 yards. New Orleans went for 152.
Yeah. Against it, and Tampa Bay, just not to cut you off, but Tampa Bay had the number 1 run defense going into this week. Number 1.
Yeah. Having said that, though, Tampa Bay did have more total yardage, but New Orleans had a significant amount more first downs. New Orleans, 26 first downs. Tampa Bay only scraped together 16.
Yeah, and Tom Brady's missed a 3rd down. He's usually converting those, so
yeah, and
he was good.
Yeah, and New Orleans, they had 7 more minutes of possession time. That's a lot. That's a lot of time with the ball in your hands.
Yeah, that's what happens when you can run that ball. And it was like the last 5 minutes of the game, they just kept running it, and they were very, very smart. So every time they got tackled, they were going down inside the field, so the clock kept moving. So a run play usually takes about 40 to 45 seconds. So when you're running the ball that much, you're not giving the team very many chances. And Tom Brady, very uncharacteristic for him, turned the ball over a fair bit. It's just two great teams meeting. Not Seattle. I do it every time. New Orleans definitely needed this one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Winston's all right. But I'm sure Tampa Bay will be fine.
They don't need Winston. They got Siemian.
Yeah, Siemian, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like Mike White has a better job of recreating what he did, even though that was a 400-yard game compared to what Siemian did. I don't know about the Siemian character. Like, a lot of things were happening for him. His penalties were happening around him. He didn't have as good as a game as it looked. I'm just going to
Tampa Bay won't give up that many penalties ever again.
The penalties, maybe. Run yards, definitely not. That was absolutely disgusting to give up that many yards.
Yeah.
I know you're going up against Alvin Kamara, but it's not like he even did all the damage to you. Everyone had a crack at him. Mark Ingram, congratulations, Mark Ingram, for getting re-signed after the Ravens, and now he's moving on to New Orleans. And he had a great game. But let's not get too caught up on that. We have a nice show going ahead of us. So we had the Dallas Cowboys after that one going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas Cowboys win 2016. No Dak Prescott. Mate, I picked Vikings, you picked Cowboys. What do you reckon about this one?
Look, I really wanted to beat you in tipping this week.
I think you did.
I think I did, but I don't think it was. Yeah. I think it was a scrappy tipping week. I think it was a couple of games that just like, let's bit what.
I deserved to be picking Jags and Lions. I'm just going to put that out.
That's right. But man, Cooper Rush played a great game. Like,
he did.
In the absence of Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush passed for 325 yards, 2 tutties, only the 1 interception. But my highlight was, and we were talking about just before we started recording, Cedric Wilson in one play during the game somehow ended up with the ball in his hands behind the line of scrimmage, threw it like a quarterback, and it went for 35 yards. Man averaged the 35-yard passing for the game because he only threw the 1. But what was Cedric Wilson doing with the ball and throwing it 35 yards for is beyond me. It worked out well. But look, Dallas Cowboys, they just showed so much composure in the late game, and that's going to move them to 6-1. But it was the Vikings were after him. For a lot of the game that I saw, the Cowboys didn't actually look all that good. I think it was just the composure of Dallas to get them on through that game without Dak Prescott. So, like, man, they set themselves up to really do well when Dak does come back.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing is I just didn't think they could do it without Dak there. And they didn't exactly play phenomenal. They played great. Don't get me wrong. But I think it was just more bad Vikings offense. They just couldn't stay on the field. Like your time of possession and your third down efficiency stats for this one, mate. Minnesota converted on 7% of their third downs.
Ouch.
That is not going to get it done. Dallas, like 50% from Dallas is that's really good, but 7% is really, really effing bad. Like you don't have to know too much about football to know that. Time of possession, obviously Dallas still win that one by 5 minutes. Dallas typically gave away most penalties in the game as they usually do. But man, Kirk Cousins, who's been throwing for 300 yards, 400 yards every other game, is struggling in this one. Dalvin Cook couldn't get too much more done running. Obviously, we know how good this Dallas Cowboys defense is, and it really showed through today. Because I didn't think they'd be able to carry them against a team like that. And Vikings defense was just floundered because Cooper Rush was able to throw 225 on him. So
I will say this about the Dallas Vikings game. If Dak Prescott's out, this game's not even close.
No, it shouldn't be. Not
but having said that, though, Amari Cooper, 8 receptions, 122 yards, averaging 15.5 yards per reception for 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 6 receptions, 112 yards. Cedric Wilson, 3 receptions, 84 yards. Like, man.
I could go play wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'd probably have $150. Like, that wide receiver room is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's right. And then Ezekiel Elliott only got rushed for 50 yards, but he did it 16. He carried it 16 times. So the man just wanted to be in the mix. It was a good, like, if we're honest, the reason Dallas won this game, besides the Vikings playing bad and all that, it was a team effort across the board on the offensive side for Dallas that got in there. I don't think it was their defense. I think it was just really bad offense from the Vikings. But I think it was a good team effort on the offensive end for Dallas. It looked ugly at times, but man, they got there.
Yeah, and it's absolutely, you'll love to see it. Like, if you can win without Dak Prescott, even if it's only like 1 or 2 games where it needs to be, then you're going to do very well. So moving on, then we had the Washington football team against the Denver Broncos. Denver takes this one 17-10. Yeah, look, Denver definitely should have won this one. I didn't think it was going to be as close as it needed to be. However, it was. Washington football team, at this point, they moved on to the play-in stages of the finals last year, and they come up against Tampa Bay. And Taylor Heineke got his start, and they almost took down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card round. And if that happens, obviously they don't go on to win the Super Bowl because they don't move it past that week and how different everything would be. So there was a lot of hype and buy-in about Tyler Heineke. What are we looking at now? Because that Washington football team had at the end of the year, one of the best defenses. And it's not like they lost too many names. Like, they still have Chase Young. They still have a lot of bad boys in that team. And now they moved their season to 2-6. So they went from wild card playoff to almost taking down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to now we're moving on to 2-6. And it's losing some games that they probably should, I guess.
Well, I don't know. This season's just been confusing me from the Chiefs playing like they are. Like, they've got the Giants tomorrow, and I'm not even sure if they'll win. That's how I feel about the Chiefs right now. As you said, Washington, they're battling on. Like, what's happening in the NFL this season? Like the Lions, like they were always expected to do like this. The 49ers, like, what's going on in the NFL where these teams is the quality of the league getting better, or are these teams for some reason or another, or have they been worked out? Like, have they been figured out by other teams? Like, I don't know, and it's a confusing season to say the least, and it's making it exciting on the picking end because you never know who to pick.
Killing me on the gambling end.
The only sure thing for me on the picking end at the moment is the Lions are probably going to lose. Other than that, it's a doozy of a season.
Nah, it's absolutely incredible. And and I think you are correct. I think teams are getting better and other teams are figuring things out. After we've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I think they really kind of showed you how to play them. And ever since then, they have just absolutely struggled, really. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs, they obviously want to go to Kelsey and they want to go to Tyreek Hill. And they want to do that by going straight down the middle of the field. So defenses, they do a whole bunch of trick plays, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on where all the other receivers are kind of carrying everyone out to the outsides of the field. But what they're really trying to do is just get them in the middle. So now defenses are just like, oh, hold up. We're not going to fall for that kind of stuff. If you want to go short on us, go short. But you're definitely not taking up this middle part of the field. We're putting 2 people on Kelsey. We're putting 2 people on Hill. Beat us that way. And with no running game, or even less running game than they've had so far, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's a tough name, has been out, obviously. It's a bit more difficult now with absolutely 0 running game, even less running game. Patty Mahomes has regressed. I think is trying to live up to this baby goat name that has been bestowed upon him. And like, I don't know any other player in any other sport who plays 3 seasons and automatically gets crowned like the baby goat. Like everyone just assumed, like, is this now just decided that this is now the greatest player of all time by the time he finishes his career. Even though we've only seen 2.5 seasons from him, he is now the GOAT. Is living up to that now is going to be very, very difficult. And so, like, what do they move to now? The Kansas City Chiefs. Well, they're just at the bottom of the AFC West. So now they're 3 wins, 4 losses. Going into the New York Giants game, like you said, you don't even know if they're going to win that. And so Denver Broncos are actually up higher than them in the AFC West. So you have the Las Vegas Raiders, who have been a revelation. They had those 2 weeks back-to-back, but other than that, they've been 5-2. So they've been look great. Then you have the Chargers, 4-3. Denver Broncos are 4-4. If Kansas City loses this game, they're done. Like, they're like, at this point, they have to go on a run, and Raiders and Chargers have to go on a massive loss streak to even compete for the top of the top of the table. So it's going to have to come down to a wild card. And if they lose against the Giants, then this whole thing is over before it even began. Yeah. Because in that division, you have Buffalo, you have Ravens, and you have the Titans. Well, you're not going to finish with better records than any of those guys. So it's going to have to come down to the wild card. And at that point, like, I don't even know. And it's not even the hardest division in the NFL. The hardest division in the NFL, if you ask me, is the NFC West. We have Arizona Cardinals at 7-1, the Las Vegas Rams 7-1, San Francisco 49ers 3-4, and the Seattle Seahawks 3-5. So they have the very real potential of moving on to the exact same record as the Seattle Seahawks, the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, and they might be, and then the New York Giants will have the same record as them. If the Giants beat Chiefs tomorrow, they'll have the exact same record on the season so far. How incredible is that?
This is what I just don't know who to pick tomorrow. I'm gonna say the Chiefs, but I don't think it's gonna be a pretty looking game.
It wasn't a very confident Chiefs, was it?
No, it's not gonna be a pretty game. I don't think. Like they look at a loss right now. They look like Mahomes looks like a defeated quarterback.
He does.
You just watch the game and watch the way he walks about when he's off the field, when he's on the field. He just looks defeated. Like,
he looks sad, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can look sad getting paid $50 million for the next 10 years.
No.
He's got a $500 million contract. So yeah, we can feel bad for Patrick Mahomes. And then a lot of people will say, oh, it's the defense and it's this and that. And they're like, oh, well.
No, he's not connecting the passes though.
He's not making the passes. And the reason why you don't have this name on the defense is, it's not like people don't want to go play for Andy Reid. It's not like they don't want to go play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
They got no money.
Go get quarterback $50 million a season. And then Travis Kelce's the highest paid tight end. Tyreek Hill is one of the highest paid wide receivers. That O-line is stacked to the absolute house. And you had to pay these guys. So you've put so much money in here. So the quarterback should look great. They should look good because everything is invested into that part of the field. So excuse me for not buying Patty Mahomes and the defense is letting him down. This whole thing, all the money, this whole building is just being around the Patrick Mahomes. And they have to score 30 points to win every night. But that's what they're designed to do. Like, that's why you have what is it? I think it's like 7/10 of your cap dedicated to this offense.
And they're not working.
And they're not working. So of course you're going to lose.
Yeah, well, I've watched a couple of games and there's no doubting Patrick Mahomes is a talented quarterback. But this season, his passes, even when they connect, they don't look convincing.
Some of his passes are dumb as well. Like, not to just be so brash about it.
Like, how many interceptions have we seen where he's falling away and he just lobs it up?
He just lobs it up and just hopes for the best. And he's gotten away with it before. So, it hasn't been beaten out of him yet because, every time he does something like that, it's like, oh, that's just Patty Mahomes.
I tell you who wouldn't do that, mate. Mike White.
No, I think Patty Mahomes needs to go home tonight. After this New York Giants game, win or lose, and study some Mike White film.
Yeah.
And see what that does for it.
Yeah.
Does for his season.
All right. Well, Rusty, give me your final prediction. Who do you think's going to win it tomorrow? The New York Giants or the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I've taken Lions, taken Jaguars.
You taking the Giants?
I cannot take the Giants. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know where the offense is going to come from for the Giants in order to win this game. I do not. Like, I don't think there's any Saquon still. Like, the Chiefs don't look that great, but I just don't know who does it for the Giants in order to beat the Chiefs and take advantage of just how lackluster they have been. I'm pretty sure they don't even get a bye week until like round 12. So, man, this could get ugly before it gets better.
Yeah, that's right.
The Chiefs have to win this.
Yeah. All right, well, let's not get caught up on the NFL too much longer. We've spent plenty of time on it, but now it's time to look over to the NBA as things are, of course, as we said, starting to settle in as most teams have played around 6 or 7 games now in the NBA regular season. Everyone's kind of starting to settle into their rhythm. Injuries starting to already pop up over the place, which is a shame, but a couple of highlights I do want to bring up. New York Knicks, they're 5-1 to start the season. They are playing some beautiful basketball. But who I really want to focus on, and I think I might have mentioned them last week, but I'm really excited with what they're doing, and that is none other than the Chicago Bulls. Man, they are playing some exciting basketball, and there's a lot of people that are really excited about like this young, exciting Chicago's Bull roster that's doing some pretty cool things. Like, man, they've looked good. Like 5-1 to start the season, 3-1 in their conference, 3-1 at home. So. And they're 2-0 on the road.
Yeah, getting it done everywhere. Like, this Bulls team has looked incredible. Like, usually when you take a team and you instill so many starters, like you're starting point guard, you're starting center, you're starting small forward, and you put all these guys in it, usually it takes a little bit to get to groove it out, to like really. But like you said, they started 5-1, and who predicted that the East would start off with the top four 5-1 teams being the New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, Washington Wizards, and the Miami Heat. That is incredible. So, man, NBA season has just been absolutely phenomenal to start off with. Every time you get it like that, Lonzo Ball has looked phenomenal. His jump shot is obviously heaps better. Vukovic is looking great. Zach LaVine, I was a bit worried that he wouldn't be able to give you what he gave you before once he brought all these other players in, but he hasn't missed a beat either, man. The Chicago Bulls team is legit. They are the real deal.
Can I pose a question to you?
Shoot.
So the Washington Wizards.
Interesting.
No one would have picked this. But what is it with Lakers players when they get traded away, find the absolute form of their life? Kyle Kuzma yesterday went 17 points and 17 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field.
Yep, that is. I don't know what it is. I feel like they do learn from the Lakers. So I will be fair. I feel like they're taking things away. Like they did get a chance to play with LeBron, which is like the greatest mind to me in like basketball. Do
you think they learn, but they don't have the freedom to do it?
Yeah. Like they are learning, but they don't obviously have the freedom to do it. But they do get the knowledge to pass on. They become better players for it. I feel like you can say if anyone played with LeBron, there's no way they become a worse player. But Kyle Kuzma has just been absolutely crashing the glass, and like it's not like LeBron taught him how to do that. Like, he has been incredible, and one of the things Lakers have obviously been lacking this year is rebounding. And goddamn, like Kuzma is only averaging 12 rebounds a game, which is going to be like top 10 in the NBA at this point, and especially for a small forward, it has been nuts. So I don't know what's happening there.
But let me highlight what Washington did to Boston yesterday. They beat them 115-112 final score. They progressed to 5-1. Here's the storyline. An informed Kyle Kuzma, who's coming into the best part of his career, it seems like at this point, 17-17. Montrezl Harrell, a veteran of the NBA, 20-14. So now you've already got massive rebounds. You've now got, 30-something rebounds?
Yeah.
30-something rebounds.
It's not like Dinwiddie and Beal on rebound and crashing the glass either.
Bradley Beal, traded from Portland. Oh, not traded from Portland, sorry. Bradley Beal, 36-7, 6 assists.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie from the Brooklyn Nets, 29-4.
Getting it done, man.
What is happening?
Washington are 5-1, but I think at least 2 games now, but I believe it could be 3, but it's definitely 2. They actually haven't even had Bradley Beal, and they're still winning games. Like, So I don't know, man. It's been something, mate. Like you love to see it from the boys. Surely no one's seen this coming from the Washington Wizards. I thought they'd compete, I guess, but definitely nothing like this, man. Yeah, like I don't know what you say about it. Spencer Dinwiddie is obviously fit in fantastically there. Bradley Beal is, we already know what he is, and Kyle Kuzma gets a bit more freedom to run around. Dude, the Washington Wizards. I'm not going to say as far as say as they're legit. I think their 5-0 record is very nice, but I don't have them in the same like league as like the Bulls or even the Knicks. Like I don't think they're a better team than the Knicks. Like who do you think finishes up better this season, like the Knicks or the Washington Wizards?
Knicks.
Yeah.
They've had
a great start.
I think the Knicks can do this for longer in the season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But like you look at that whole East and the top 8, it's just insane. Like, like Milwaukee Bucks. It's early, so let's not get carried away. But Milwaukee Bucks aren't top 8.
No.
The Indiana Pacers are last in the East.
Yeah.
In the East.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics aren't top 8. The Cavaliers, who I posed this question to you boys the other day. I said, man, they're having a great ass season. They're not even top 8.
No.
Like,
no.
What are we?
Brooklyn Nets are hovering on that 8th position.
Just there.
Yeah.
If
we look at the West, Utah Jazz 5-1.
Yeah, I feel like this was predictable.
Yeah, no, I think I might have even said the Jazz might finish top or at least top 4.
You pick Jazz, yeah. I pick Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, and they're both there. They're both right there.
Both right there. Yeah. So this the West makes more sense to me. Like
I need to go on the record here about the West.
Oh, here we go. I'll get my pen out. Yeah, continue.
I said at the start of the season, I don't think Minnesota can play well.
You did say that.
And they're playing good basketball.
Sorry, what? Was one more time?
Minnesota are playing great basketball.
Unbelievable. Never thought I'd bloody hear it come out of your mouth. But congratulations.
But what,
I'm giving props to them.
What I will say about the Minnesota Timberwolves.
There it is. But
it's one Karl Anthony Towns injury away from all coming unstuck.
Well, I would argue that the Los Angeles Lakers are one LeBron James injury from
me too. I would agree with you as well.
Or Anthony Davis, yeah.
I would agree with you.
But yes, of course, Minnesota. Like if they lose Karl Anthony Towns, then yeah, then it's over.
Can I ask you about Portland?
Portland, yeah. Oh, Portland.
Damian Lillard refuses to go anywhere else, at least anywhere that has a decent team. Is his career going to end with no championship?
If he stays in Portland, yes.
Do you think he will?
Yeah. I feel like there's more of a chance to leave now than there was before. Like, I feel like he's gotten like all the credit and stuff, like all the fan adoration, saying, "Oh, you're the best, Damian." Like,
but I think the longer he stays, the more it's going to blow up when he does leave.
It definitely is, and I don't know. I feel like at this point, like Portland is a weird place. Let's just put that out there right now. But I feel like the loyalist fans at this point, like, look how long Damian has been there for, and he's banging the drum of, "I'm not leaving. I'm bringing people here." Like, at what point is it okay for him to leave? Is it ever? Like, is it when he turns 40, or is it after? Like now, he's like, it's not like he's not in the twilight of his career, but he's getting on. Like, at what point is it okay for him to go? Because he has been there a very long time. He has tried bringing in stars, and the most that they've really managed to bring in at this point is Norman Powell. So
Damian,
it's not his fault.
No, he is 31 though.
So no spring chook anymore.
Well, I mean, he's still arguably in the age you'd consider most people to be in their prime.
For a shooter, especially.
For a shooter.
Yeah.
But he's closer to the end of his career than he is the start.
Definitely.
So I think time is seriously ticking, and he's insistent that a championship does not matter to him if it means sacrificing it for. I don't even care if he goes to another super. I don't even care if he doesn't go to a super team. I don't care. Yeah. I would just like to see him change up the scenery a bit. I think Portland has been milked dry for him.
Yeah.
I would just like to see him go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't know where. I don't know where. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe even like, I don't know, like maybe like where do you think a good place for him to get traded would be? Denver?
Well, I thought a cool one. Well, Denver, he would definitely fit in, and you'd obviously have to give up Jamal Murray. But a cool one would have been for me would have been Washington Wizards.
Yep.
Like it would have been the exact leap, like different look. You're in the East now.
Who would you trade him for though?
Yeah, well that's the thing is that they wouldn't really have the pieces to be able to get something like that because it'd have to be Dinwiddie and just picks or something. But obviously he's better. Like CJ McCollum's a great player. I'm taking Bradley Beal over CJ McCollum.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But and it would have seemed was fit if we had to have them two play together again. But I don't. As far as fits wise, like imagine if Philadelphia were able to snag him for like the Ben Simmons thing. Like
I think he'd be a great fit at Philly.
That would be fantastic.
Him,
for Philly.
Dame, Tobias Harris. Maybe Tobias gets traded. Hard to say, but like imagine this team: Dame, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, like Seth Curry. Seth Curry shooting the lights out at the moment, like.
Yeah, so you have your little mini Splash Bros still there for you to shoot. So it would just be an absolutely phenomenal team. I feel like Philadelphia it has to be like one of the most realistic trading point spots at this point in time because I don't know who else has like a cachet of a superstar in order like Ben Simmons, like regardless of what's going on with him, we've talked about it to nauseam. But other than them, I don't really know who else has like the
only one I could imagine was maybe Dallas throwing some pieces together, some picks.
It'd have to be Jamal Murray then. And
no, Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Yeah, but would he work next to Luka?
I think so, but he would have to take a reduced role. But you have to wonder, is Dame prepared to do such thing? Maybe not.
He would be the CJ McCollum, like, because he's having his nights where he's not shooting well. Like, this season already, he's had nights where he's not shooting fantastically, but he is distributing the ball very well. So I don't know if you really want to take the ball out of Luka's hands like that. I feel like Dallas has like other major issues that probably need to address before getting someone like Dame Lillard. Like if you can get him, you go get him. But yeah, at this point in time, my pick would definitely have to be either the Pelicans or Philadelphia. Philadelphia being the more realistic option, or Miami Heat. Imagine if Miami Heat were able to go get him with like a Kyle Lowry, and you give him a Duncan Robinson, or even a Tyler Herro, and you bring in a Damian Lillard, and like now you have Damian Lillard, Bam, Oladipo, Jimmy Butler. Like at that point, you just win.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So I think there's some options there to trade him, but I don't know. I don't think he will. He seems too stubborn at this point.
It feels like something that happened in the off season more than it happened like during the season as well.
I don't know. It depends how. Like this might be the season that just makes him snap on Portland.
Yeah, well, bend don't break, I guess. Like, obviously, they're still hanging around, like, where the Grizzlies and Phoenix and the Lakers area. Yeah. But obviously, if you could get to the East, go to the East. As much as a crapshoot it is over there at the moment, I feel like, yeah, you definitely probably want to be in the East more than the West at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's going to be a rough season for Damian Lillard if he does stay there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So who has been your surprise team so far from this season, whether it be good or bad? Well, okay, let's do this.
It's got to be the Wizards. It's got to be the Wizards.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Like what the Wizards have been able to do is early on, but it's been miraculous.
Actually,
really.
Sorry, let me check. I will not change my mind. The Wizards, but it's also how well Philly have played without Ben Simmons.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
yeah,
to be 4-2 without a multi-million-dollar player.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, well, I think he's got the second biggest contract on that team, if not the first. So if it would be without that guy, it'd be difficult. A la Brooklyn Nets. Like at the moment, like Philly's probably playing better than Brooklyn. Like, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
So yeah, and it's not like that. And they're missing their third best guy. Like Philly's missing arguably their first, but definitely their second. So yeah. What about your most disappointing team then?
Pacers.
Yeah, me too. I had them in my top 8.
Pacers,
had them top 5.
Pacers or Clippers.
Yeah.
Like, take out Kawhi Leonard, whatever. You've still got Paul freaking George.
Yeah.
I don't think Paul George is the same Indiana Paul George we had. If he's not the same Oklahoma City Paul George.
Definitely.
But he's still Paul George. Like,
he did have 46
surely that. Yeah, I know. But you can score all the points you want. You've still got to be able to lead the team.
Definitely.
And that team is not a 1-4 team. With or without Kawhi Leonard, they're not a 1-4 team.
Yeah, definitely.
So like I think I don't know. It's not all Paul George, but yeah, Indiana Pacers have probably been really disappointing for me. I think it's just they've been such a letdown.
Dude, 1-6, man. Mm-hmm. Like I know you've been missing Brogdon for a couple of games, but Miles Turner is just is either giving you 40 points and 10 rebounds and 5 blocks, or he's giving you 4 points and 3 rebounds. Like there is just no in the middle. And Sabonis, what does Sabonis have to do to win these games, man? He's even having 40-point triple doubles every night,
But this is
and they can't win.
this is the thing. They lost 118 to 100 to Toronto.
Yeah, against Toronto. Like, yeah, Scotty Barnes has been great, but in Siakam's absence. But Toronto,
like 94-97 lost to Toronto. 98-105 lost to Brooklyn. 100-118 lost to Toronto again. 109-119 lost to a struggling Milwaukee.
yeah. But they beat Miami.
They beat Miami though. Like
beat Miami. They go Miami. They only lost.
What do you mean? Like you're like this?
Yeah.
So
what is this team? Like I don't know. Like,
but here's the issue. Look at this. 14th in points per game. So they can't score. They can't score. 16th in assists per game. So they're not playing as a team.
Yeah.
19th in rebounds per game. So they're not getting the ball off the glass.
No.
Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, listen, I think I had them top 5. I had them around the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami at the end of the year East standing, and they have just been god awful. Like, it's one thing to lose to Toronto. It's another thing entirely to lose to them twice. Like, like the Toronto Raptors really should at this point. Like, they should have their records reversed. Like, Indiana Pacers really should be 3-4, and then the Raptors should be 2-5. But they're not, because they lost to the Raptors twice. So if you can't beat the Raptors, then who can you beat? I don't know if they even beat Detroit at this point.
Let me give you the Pacers' next few games.
Yep.
San Antonio at home.
Loss.
Knicks at home. Loss.
Oh, loss.
At Portland.
Well, that might be a loss as well. Oh, no.
At Sacktown.
Oh, it's got to be a win.
At Denver.
That's a loss. Oh, no.
At Utah.
They might start off 2-20.
Their road ahead is pretty tough until they meet Detroit. Then they get Charlotte, so they're probably going to lose that one. Then they get the Pelicans. Then they get the Chicago. Then they get Lakers.
Yeah.
I give up.
But Detroit is probably looking at them going, Indiana Pacers are looking at the calendar.
And they're giving themselves a chance.
Yeah, and they're looking at the calendar going, we got Detroit, we got a chance here. And Detroit is just absolutely slobbering. They're like, we can win this one, baby. This is our chance right here. Oh my God. Indiana Pacers legitimately might start 2 from 15.
They're averaging 17.5 turnovers a game at the moment.
You want to make a bet right now? We'll go Indiana Pacers to finish with to start off better or worse than 3 and 15. Do you want to take the over or the under?
Over.
You want to take the over? They're going to win more than 3 games.
How many games have they played?
1. They played 7. Yeah, now it's getting spicy.
Yeah, I give it over. I give it over, but
you're going over 3 games.
They need to capitalize on Detroit Pelicans.
Pelicans might have Zion back by that point as well. Big old hey, I'm Zion Williamson.
Hey,
even that point. But all right, you got the over. I'll let you pick. So it means I get the under. So, all right, what do you reckon? Let's just go. We'll do a friendly off-wager cam, but you've all heard it here first that there is a bet going on behind the scenes. He's got the over, I got the under. But yeah, how sad is that I picked the Pacers to finish top 5, and now I'm betting on them to start off worse than 3 and 15. What a wonderful world we live in here. I think obviously my most disappointing team would have to be the Indiana Pacers. Team I'm most surprised with, Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like have been surprising.
Oh, come on! They're 3-2. They're hardly
they lose games that they've been winning, but typically historically, they lost the last game in the most Timberwolves way possible by blowing 2 layups at the end of the game, but they are winning other games which they typically have been losing. And Anthony Edwards has been phenomenal. It's not as a revelation to me as the Washington Wizards, of course, but it is encouraging that Minnesota has started off this well, especially in the West. They've had some stiff competition, But the games that they've been winning, they typically lose these close ones. So congratulations, Minnesota, for not bombing to start off the season. Still plenty of time, I am sure though.
All
But
right.
yeah, I do like them.
Can I pique your interest with a man that has been playing? Well, he's basically still a boy that has been playing a heck of a season so far. His dad's an idiot. His brother's okay. His brother's okay.
It's okay. Oh, yeah.
But LaMelo Ball,
yeah.
what on earth? He's averaging 18 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 92% free throw percentage, 41% from 3, 40% from the field, playing just a tick under 30 minutes per game. The man's just like, he's playing so well. Like,
he's playing great, and they lost Devontae Graham in the offseason. They haven't had Terry Rozier except for today. Terry Rozier had his it's his second game, but the first game he was the one he got injured in. So he's been needing to have to step up. Their keys have absolutely been handed to him. The games that they're winning, he's going berserk from 3. The games that they're losing, he's not shooting well. But yeah, today he was just absolutely phenomenal once more. Yeah, like that whole Charlotte team is looking great, and like they have bestowed the "You are now our leader" LaMelo Ball onto him, and he has not let down just yet. Yeah, very real. He ends this season plus 20 points, and then like plus like 7 rebounds and assists. He is great. I haven't got too much negative to say about LaMelo Ball. He's been fantastic. But this is our rookie of the year. Now what can you do next? He started off great. He's had some highs. He has some lows. I look forward to seeing if he can do it for like the whole season. Yeah. What do you reckon of LaMelo Ball's season? How it's started and how it's going to end?
I think he's going to improve more. I think he's far from reached his ceiling so far this season. I'm seeing triple doubles, some triple doubles happening this season. Like he's teasing it. Like,
do you think Charlotte makes it into the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely, I do.
Where do you see him ending up?
In the bottom 4 of it, but they're in. I think they'll get in.
Had a great start.
Yeah,
Miles Bridges. This whole team has been incredible though. Oubre Jr. has played phenomenally off the bench. He was off the bench again today, and I think he has something like 25 and 7. He plays so much better when he's off the bench. And now that Rozier is back, he has moved back into that spot. But Miles Bridges has been phenomenal as well. Like LaMelo's been great too. Like obviously, and that's who we're talking about. But Miles Bridges has been fantastic. Like this is a nice looking Hornets team. It's going to be tough for them once the dust settles. But yeah, they should be top 8.
Like I like this. I like their starting 5 against Portland today.
Yeah,
like it's Hayward, Bridges, Plumlee, Rozier.
Hayward. I forgot about Hayward.
Yeah,
like what an absolute. They have the people. They need Hayward to stay healthy. PJ Washington has looked pretty.
I mean, they've got Ish Smith, and like Ish Smith can go off every now and again. Like
it's great. Oh, Wizards last season?
Yeah,
he was phenomenal.
He wasn't consistent, but every now and again, he just have these games. Like every 3 or 4 games, he'd drop like 25. He was in my fantasy team last season.
Yeah, I think he was in one of my leagues as well because if he was on the court, he was probably giving you 8 assists. It's very serviceable.
It's a good team.
It's nice.
They're not a championship winning team. Like, let's be real. But
they're ahead of the Bucks. Are we subscribing much to that at this point?
No.
Yeah, they're ahead of Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn finishes with a better record than them. Who finishes with a better record, Hornets or Hawks?
Hawks.
Hawks finish with a better record?
Yeah.
All right, so we have Brooklyn finishing better, Atlanta finishing better, Bucks finishing better. That will move them to 8 seed. And still outside the 8 at the moment, we still have Boston, Cavs.
I don't think Boston's will make it.
Yeah, well, that was probably going to be the next question: is who's going to be the odd man out here? They've had a shaky start, but they've had some players out.
Boston's not coming.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, lucky we have the play-in stages as well at this point. So as long as they get around like the 10 mark, they'll have a chance to compete, and it will have to be against I think 6 plays 10, 7 plays 9, etc. Something to that accord. So you never know. Like at that point, so yeah. 8 plays 9, 10 plays 7. So with that play-in bracket, if Hornets fall down there, then that could be their season as well. Because on any given night, obviously, and Boston Celtics are a great team, but Well, yeah, well, we're burning the house down over the Pacers, but Boston only have one more win than them as well, so it might be overreaction. So we'll see, I suppose.
I tell you what, your boy Kelly Oubre Jr. You're a personal fan of him. He's playing a great season.
He's been
He's
phenomenal.
averaging 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, shooting 65% free throws, 40%.
Just amongst on the defensive end as well.
40% from three. So like he's offering you plenty to do, and of course there is that defensive pressure. So he's offering plenty. Like he's had pretty good games, all bar 2 so far.
Yeah.
He's gone 26 points, 17 points. Then he had a 4-point game against Orlando. Then he had 19 points against Boston, and then he had 9 against Brooklyn. So like he's played more good games than he has bad.
Yeah, well, there's no shame against doing that against Brooklyn. And that Orlando game, you look at that, and everyone on the Hornets played awfully that game. So I was a bit bummed to see, because I was like, I heard they was going to have to get moved to the bench. But he, at this point, playing off the bench, he's an incredible bench player. He shoots with a higher field goal percentage at this point, and obviously more points, and even rebounds at that. He's everything he does better off the bench at this point. Before the season started, I wanted to see him starting over Miles Bridges, but it's the connection of him and LaMelo and how well Miles Bridges has been playing. That's obviously not going to happen. So yeah, no, Oubre is putting together a nice little tight little season so far. Hopefully he can keep it up. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's been his issue the last couple of years, but it looks like he's fitting in better here than he did in Golden State.
Let me give you some team names, and we'll wrap up with this for the podcast. I'm gonna give you some team names, and you say in or out of the 8.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boston.
In.
Cavs.
Out, but I think they make play-ins.
Raptors.
Out.
76ers.
In.
Wizards.
In, but they're not going to be sitting at the top of the table like they are at the moment. Yeah, but I didn't pick them to be in it, but yeah, it's in.
Pacers.
Out, but play-ins. I feel like they bounce back. They might start 3-15, but
All right.
this team is just too talented. You know what I mean? To be at the bottom of the East. Look, the names that they have. Obviously, they have Chris LeVert back now, which they don't have too much of him. They've been missing Brogdon the last couple of games, but you still should be winning these games. I feel like the Pacers are way too talented to be at the bottom of the East, but I just named 4 teams. I think I said in. So that means only other 4 people can fit in that Eastern Conference, and we didn't name the Knicks, we didn't name the Bulls, we didn't name Miami, we didn't name the Hawks, we didn't name the Nets. So, man, the East is tough this year, eh?
Yep. All right, let's go to the West. Timberwolves.
Out.
Ouch. Sacktown.
Out.
Trailblazers.
In.
Play-ins or in?
In.
In.
I think they'll probably finish around the 7 mark, 8th or 7th, but they'll finish top 8.
Grizz.
In.
Suns.
In.
Starting 2 and 3.
They'll be right. In. Suns are in. They finish top 5 comfortably.
Clippers.
Out.
Really?
Yeah.
You reckon the re-signing Kawhi Leonard's gonna be a waste?
I feel like they're just going to get Kawhi Leonard back too late.
Yeah. I think he's projected for the end of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be at the very, very most a month out, but probably less than that. Obviously Marcus Morris isn't a world beater, but he's been out as well. But yeah, Clippers, it's just not clicking at this point. Yeah, I think they finish out of the top 8.
Pelicans.
Out. Altogether.
Thunder.
Yeah, out. But hey, they're looking good. They're the only 1-5. They're the only team with 1 win so far that I'm actually enjoying watching. You know what I mean?
Mavs.
Like watching the Thunder. Mavs are in, even though they're a bit of a mess. Mavs are in.
All right. Well, there we go. We'll leave it at that. Lakers. Lakers.
Spurs. Lakers are in. Do you think Spurs make top 8?
No.
Ooh. I think they do.
I just don't think they'll be able to do it all season.
Yeah, you just said that because I just beat your Lakers. That's all, but that's I don't know.
No, we beat Spurs.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
We beat them in OT.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
All right,
Nah,
well,
not too shabby then.
we will wrap it up there. Thank you for tuning into the sports podcast.
It got a bit loose at the end there, didn't it?
It got pretty loose, but that's all right. Look, I thank you for tuning in. Make sure you, again, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, just keep up to date with all the episodes when they drop. But other than that, on behalf of myself, Lockie, and Wusty, we'll see you next time for the Collateral Sports Podcast.
Thanks, guys.